Look at this boy, you think he's just an ordinary schoolboy. But no, you're looking at a guy who managed to stop time. Want to know how he did it, and what happened as a result? Then here's a review of the South Korean fantasy drama, The Boy Who Came Back.
Audio Jungle.
The main character's name is Surin. She is 14 years old, and she is not exactly an ordinary girl. Surin is seeing a psychiatrist. It turns out that this schoolgirl helped a criminal, who was suspected of kidnapping children, escape from Wano Island. But why did she do it? The girl tells Dr. Min her story. When the girl was in 4th grade, her mother died. Surin stayed to live with her stepfather. After 2 years they moved to Wano Island. At the new school, Surin feels very lonely. She dreams of escaping or at least being in another world. The girl runs a blog in which she talks about how to make astral travel. Her stepfather, Surin tells her, will now be working nights. He supervises blasting work in a tunnel underground. After school, the girl walks past the orphanage building. A ball rolls out of the yard, followed by a boy. His name is Sunmin. They get acquainted. Surin and Sunmin go to the seashore. The boy lies down on the ground and tries to meditate. He wants to show the girl that his soul can leave his body. Surin doesn't believe him, but she too is interested in the possibility of communicating with other measures. The boys devise a cipher for their correspondence. They write their questions and wishes to the ghosts. Surin and Sungmin often play in an abandoned, dilapidated house in the woods. One day, Sungmin carves Surin's portrait on a bar of soap. That's also when their first kiss occurs. The children at school are warned that there are blasting operations under the mountain in the tunnel. It is not allowed to go there under any circumstances. It is very dangerous. Despite this, Sungmin and his friends Testik and Jabuk are going to go into that tunnel. Surin finds out about it by chance and goes with them. The children pass through the forest, climb the mountain under which they tunnel, and find a cave. They climb inside. There the boys find an underground lake at the bottom of which lies a sparkling egg-shaped stone. Surin thinks it's a meteorite from outer space. Testy disagrees with her. If his grandfather is to be believed, this is what the eggs of a goblin that can devour time look like. If a child finds such an egg, he turns into an adult. And if an adult finds the egg, he will quickly grow old and die. Sunmin undresses, dives in and retrieves this mysterious stone from the bottom of the lake. As the children leave the cave, Serena remembers that she forgot her hairpin inside. She goes back, and at that time there are explosions. Grabbing the hairpin, the girl runs to the exit, but there is no one near the cave. The boys are gone, and there are shards of a broken stone egg on the ground. Surin walks through the forest in the dark, lighting the way with her phone. She cries and calls her friends. The next day, villagers come to the tunnel. They tell the workers that their children went here the day before and disappeared without a trace. They demand that the workers stop their work immediately, and they report on television that 4 children are missing. Detective An interrogates Surin's stepfather. It turns out that the man didn't even know what his stepdaughter was wearing. Rescuers comb the woods looking for missing children. They find Surin, who spent the night in the woods. The detective interrogates the girl, who tells him about the cave, the goblin egg and the disappearance of the boys. The rescuers search the surroundings, but find nothing. Surin arrives at the school, her classmates whispering behind her back that it's her fault the boys are missing. How dare she come to class? The next day Surin goes to woods where she sees a young man trying to speak to her. The girl screams in fright, leaps out of the forest, and runs towards the road, where Surin halts a car driven by her stepdad. The girl says she was scared by a man who called himself Sunmin. The cops give Surin the notebook they found in the woods. The notebook contains an incomprehensible cipher. Surin recognizes this code. They invented it together with Sungmin for their correspondence. The girl realizes that this is her friend's diary. Surin tells the policeman she lied to them. There is no scary man in the woods. Surin reads Sunmin's diary. The boy describes everything that happened to him. It turns out that Sungmin broke a stone egg, after which time for him and his friends stopped. Then Sungmin went down into the cave and saw Surin standing there motionless. Drops of water hung over the lake, birds in the sky froze. Sungmin comes out of the cave. He and his friends go to the village. The boys walk around, looking at the people frozen motionless. Looking under the women's skirts, they go into the store, picking up food for themselves. At first, the boys had a lot of fun, the whole world was in their power. They decide to move from the island to the mainland to check if everything is all right there in time. The boys try to leave the island in a boat, but the water is still and they can't row. The buddies notice that they are not reflected in the mirror. The boys get bored and look for some kind of entertainment. For example, they read comic books. One day, after they left the bookstore, Sungmin and Taesung saw that Jaewa had died. He was suffering from asthma. The boys bury their friend at the seaside, and the years go by. Sungmin and his friend are 20 years old now. When Monmin broke the egg, he was 14. The boys don't understand why time keeps standing still and how long they have to wait. Sungmin and Tashik decide to prepare for the future. They start saving money, read books, and realize that they are gradually forgetting the past. Sungmin fears that no one will remember him. He finds a piece of soap on which he drew Surin's portrait as a child and hides it in a music box on the table in her room. The thought that he will never come back makes the boy despair. One day Sungmin looks up at the sky and notices that the phase of the moon has changed. It means that time has begun to move, yes, slowly, but at least somehow. Sungmin rushes to his friend to tell him this happy news, but he can't find him anywhere. He then finds Taesik's clothes on the bank and realizes that his friend has drowned, so he dives in too but realizes that time is ticking away again. Sungmin comes up out of the water, the world is back to normal. As Surin finishes reading her diary, she finds in her music box the same piece of soap with her portrait on it. The girl goes to the forest, enters the abandoned house where she and Sungmin used to play as children, and finds her grown-up friend there. Surin apologizes to him for not believing him. The girl promises to help the boy. She brings him food. Sungmin drops a box of food on the floor. The boy can't get used to the fact that things can fall and not freeze in place. Surin takes the boy to a public shower, then she gives him a haircut. Now the guy looks a little like his old self, but the guy is afraid of everything. Worst of all is that no one believes them. Throughout the village hang ads. Looking for a man suspected of kidnapping children. The reward is $30,000, and on the flyer is a photo of Sumin, who was caught on one of the security cameras. Sungmin comes to Surin's house. He is afraid to be alone. Sungmin feels guilty about his friend's death, because he is the one who broke that rock. Surin recalls seeing 2 eggs in the cave. She suggests that Sungmin break it and stop time, but the boy doesn't want to do that. He dreams of sailing off the island and settling where no one knows them. One day Surin's stepfather tracks her and Sungmin down. A fight ensues between the boy and the man. Sungmin stuns the girl's stepfather. Sungmin and Surin run away. The police look for them. Surin tries to buy 2 boat tickets, but the guy doesn't have a passport, which means they can't get off the island. The station is surrounded by police. They have to split up. Surin is found by the police, but the guy manages to escape. Surin escapes from the station through an open bathroom window and rushes to a cave. There she dives into the lake, retrieves 2 stone and gives it to Sungmin, but the guy refuses to break it. He realizes that then Surin's life would be completely ruined. A series of explosions occur, trees fall, huge rocks fly off the mountain. Sungmin and Surin run to the edge of a high cliff. The police surround them. Surin starts crying. They grab him. A fight ensues, and Surin runs off the cliff. One of the policemen manages to grab her arm, but she still falls down. We see Surin on the shore of the sea. Time has stopped, the waves are frozen, and Sungmin approaches her, taking the girl's hand. In the next shot, Surin is sitting on the beach. The sea is raging. Time is running its course on the shore. A gray-haired man lies on the beach, and the girl recognizes Sungmin in him. Then she realized that Sungmin had broken the egg again and stopped time in order to save her. He left so that the girl could live a normal life. Surin moves on to high school. But in the crowd she is constantly looking for Sungmin, and one day the girl does meet him. They sail away together on a huge ship. All the horrors are left behind. Rate your likes, share your impressions, subscribe to the channel and confidently click on the bell.